Submissions have closed for a parliamentary inquiry into waste-to-energy incinerators across New South Wales. The inquiry will review the risk of toxic emissions and impacts on agriculture. Joining us live is New South Wales member of the Upper House, Nicole Overall, and also the chair of the committee. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us. So roughly how many submissions were there?
Thanks, Janie. Great to be with you. Yes, as of Friday afternoon at 5 p.m, we were close enough to almost 1,500 submissions that had been received within the 6-week period that it was open. That's bearing in mind that the submissions didn't actually close until midnight on Friday, and the committee had also approved a few extensions for those who hadn't been able to meet the deadline. So we'll have a finalisation of the numbers from tomorrow. But yes, as of 5 o'clock on Friday evening, almost 1,500. So strong interest and support for this inquiry indeed.
I had a quick scan of some of the submissions. Health concerns and lack of consultation were some of the standouts. What other issues came up and what were some positive submissions?
Yeah, well, I obviously haven't yet had the opportunity to go through almost 1,500 of those submissions, although I most certainly will be doing so. But in the ones that I have taken a look at so far, some of the things that you raised there, and of course had previously been put forward, which was some of the reasons why we called for this inquiry to begin with. That is around emissions, the potential for or concerns around the impacts of that, whether it's on agricultural land, whether on water and water supply, and potentially health impacts and concerns about that as well. Social licence, as you mentioned, many are suggesting that that they've seen trust eroded, that the lack of transparency in the process, the lack of comprehensive information has most certainly eroded community trust in what's going on as well. So this will need to be addressed. And something else that I'm finding that I'm coming across, Janie, is questions around economic viability and what it might mean when we're talking about, do the sums add up? So cost to benefit ratios, for example, if we're talking about trucking and sending by rail hundreds of thousands of tonnes of waste from Sydney to the regions, how does that stack up when it comes to the figures? So some really interesting points around that. When it comes to some of the positive ones, and obviously it's not only those who are against these proposals, these potential initiatives, but also those who are for such things. And one of the areas that is emerging in that regard are those who are suggesting that hundreds of millions of dollars invested into regional communities around these type of initiatives can be potentially of great benefit as well. Job creation, what it might mean for local businesses and the kind. So obviously we're looking at all aspects of that during the course of this inquiry.
How many of these projects are there in New South Wales?
Well, that's a great question because, of course, initially when it was put forward, there were 4. This was reduced to 2, and now it seems that we're back up to 4 again. So it was going to be Goulburn, Tarago area and Parkes that were proceeding. West Lithgow and Tomago had been removed from the list, but in the most recent iteration of the EPA's website, it seems that both of those proposed projects are now back on the list. So this is what we have to look at in that regard as well.
One question I wanted to ask you, if these projects are designed to also produce energy, why are we perhaps not hearing about them in the conversation of renewables and lowering emissions?
Yeah, look, and that's a really interesting point that you raised there as well, Janie. It is mainly being referred to in relation to the circular economy, and that is better utilisation, better methodology around recycling, resource recovery, making sure that they're maximising the benefits from the waste that we're generating. But again, you're quite right. In the end, a concept such as what we're looking at here is about generating energy from waste. So why does it not come under that broader banner of how it's being looked at? And of course, one of the most significant points that continues to be raised, both in the submissions and prior to the inquiry being called, is the expectation for select few regional areas to be dealing with Sydney's waste to the exclusion of the metropolitan areas in having to address part of the problem as well. And if it's going to be of such benefit in generating this energy, then why aren't we looking at it more broadly? And one of the questions that I will be pursuing as part of it as the chair is, what is going to be the future in all of this as well? If Sydney is going to continue to generate millions of tonnes of waste, if we're looking at 4 locations to address that, how much more will they be expected to deal with? And what are other proposed locations, or what is the future plan going to be in how this is all going to be rolling out? So many things that are emerging from it. And the more I look into it, the more questions I have as well.
Yeah, I bet. We've run out of time, but just in 10 seconds, if you don't mind, what happens next?
We have a committee meeting on December 15th to be looking at public hearings, when they'll occur, sites, visits, locations, and all of that will be available on the New South Wales Parliamentary website, or you can follow me on social media as well for consistent updates about it all.
Nicole Overall, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Jamie.